Today we're going to be doing Notes 1.2 Forms of Government. So we're looking at different styles of government, and we will continue in our next notes to look at forms of democracy. So first up, a monarchy. This is a government headed by one person, such as a king or queen, who exercises supreme authority. Power is usually inherited from a royal family, and so it's transferred from, usually father to son to the next son, and it's carried through a bloodline. Absolute monarchs have unlimited power. This was the most common form of rule in world history. Most modern-day kings and queens are ceremonial heads of state for constitutional monarchies that we see in Spain, Great Britain, and Japan. So we still have kings and queens, but in most cases their power has been greatly limited. They aren't these absolute monarchs of the past. So a monarchy is an autocracy. Single individual autocrat controls most of the government power. And this is risky because people become sick with power. So when you give too much power, they try to take more and more power, which is why in most cases monarchies have transitioned to constitutional monarchies, which we'll talk about next. So a constitutional monarchy. And this is based on the idea that there are limits to the rightful power of a government over its citizens. Power of the monarch is limited by law. The real power lies in another branch of government. So they may coexist with other forms of government, such as a representative democracy. So modern day example is the United Kingdom, where we have Queen Elizabeth. She is the monarch, she is the queen, but she's mostly just a figurehead. She has roles to open up Parliament, and Parliament is their ruling body, very similar to our Congress, and so members of Parliament are the ones who make and pass laws. The true power of government rests within Parliament, and they have a prime minister who gets elected, and that would be more of the true head of the country. And so even now in the United Kingdom, there's a lot of debate on whether or not they should continue with the monarchy. I would say it's probably split about 50-50 how many like the tradition of having a monarch, but some people feel that it's kind of archaic and should be kind of done away with. A dictatorship. So this is a system of rule in which one person, a dictator, or a small group of people can hold unlimited power over government. A dictatorship exists where those who rule cannot be held responsible to the will of the people. They do whatever they want because they hold total control. The government is not accountable for its policies, and all dictatorships are authoritarian. Those in power have absolute and unchallenged authority over the people. They often achieve power through violence and maintained by force. So some examples are Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and so in these next few slides we'll also explore kind of different types of dictatorships, or kind of like how the dictatorships have come into existence. So this is just kind of a general definition for dictatorship, where you have total control, you've taken power by force. There are also totalitarian regimes, and again, that works one with the dictatorship. And here you have a dictator who holds ultimate authority. Some of the things that kind of really are specific to a totalitarian regime, the government tightly controls all aspects of life: political, social, economic, controlling kind of what people are watching on TV, what information comes in and out of the country, what music they can listen to, what products are sold. And so it's not just, okay, we're living our everyday lives, but everything is controlled by the dictator. So there are no formal or informal limits on the government. Citizens are not allowed to question or challenge the government. So an example of this is modern-day North Korea. So Kim Jong-un has cut off the country from the rest of the world. The people in North Korea only know what he wants them to know, and they have very little knowledge of the outside world and what's going on. So oligarchy and aristocracy. Small group of powerful people make most government decisions for their own benefit. Membership in the ruling group may be based on wealth, family, military power. Alrighty. An example of this comes from ancient Greece in Sparta. And our last slide, we have a theocracy. And so again, we're looking at kind of still in the theme of kind of dictatorships, where you have a government that is ruling over the people, in this case using kind of religious aspect to gain control. So rulers claim to represent and be directed by a set of religious ideas. Laws are rooted in a particular religion or religious doctrine. Government power is unlimited. Usually harsh rule is justified by a religious text. So kind of very similar to kind of divine right theory, that we have to enforce what the religion wants, what the religious text says. Those that follow are okay. If you try to challenge that, then you're challenging, your religion. And so in that case, it kind of puts more pressure on people. So modern day Iran is an example of a theocracy. Okay, so we're done with the notes. You're going to want to go back. You're going to want to make sure you define each one of, monarchy, constitutional monarchy, theocracy, dictatorship. Do that in your notes, and then also complete your assignment for today.